In today's video, we're going to be looking at underrated artifacts for less than 50 cents. All right, it's going to be easy on the, little easy on the wallet. I'm going to start off with Arcanist's Owl. This is a 4-mana 3/3 bird. It's a flyer. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact or enchantment card from among them and put them into your hand. And put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I think this card is... I think it was pretty hype when it first came out, and then just sort of, I don't know, it like died off for some reason. It's literally Impulse on a body. Now, yeah, you can only find artifacts and enchantments. Maybe you can find another Arcanist's Owl. Not to mention, if you are in Devotion, this is great. You have quadruple blue, quadruple white for Devotion. There's not a lot of cards out there that are like that, all right? That's big mana. You make an artificial Gaia's Cradle out of your Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. All right, let's take Haunted House from Christopher B. An attraction. They're not they're technically legal in Commander. Okay, this is visit. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next end step. Problem is I can't make any comment. I don't even know how attractions work. I know ever so often you people suggest these cards. I don't know how they work. Okay, Benjamin Berkey. Cold Steel Heart. Okay, give me something I can comment on. I want to be able to snack on some of these artifacts here. It's a 2-mana snow artifact for the snow decks out there. Cold Steel Heart enters the battlefield tapped. As Cold Steel Heart enters the battlefield, you choose a color and tap, add 1 mana of the chosen color. This actually is pretty good. For the most part, like, what are you going to do with your mana rock on turn 2? You're just going to play it and pass. This one can add 1 mana of any color. I like this one a lot. It's pretty ballin'. We've got Bryce. Bryce the Hottie, of all things. The Stasis Coffin. Stasis Coffin, a 3-mana legendary artifact. Pay 2, tap. Exile the Stasis Coffin. You gain protection from everything until your next turn. Is this 50 cents? It's not even 50 cents, not even 20 cents. Is this like just completely slept on by everyone? It's a legendary artifact. Any deck can play this. You gain protection from everything until your next turn. You can do that in response to something. Someone tries to target you with Hymn to Turok, you just crack your Stasis Coffin. Says, no, send your Turok back at you. I don't need any of that. Minovsky with the Loxodon Warhammer. Is that really underrated? It saved my butt many times. I've seen this card on this show like more than once. 3-mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample and lifelink. You can also equip it for 3. I guess it's the Armadillo Cloak of Commander. Honestly, this card has been printed so many times. I have a feeling this is very accurately rated. Super accurately rated. You don't think a lot of people play this, Banovsky? We'll explain this! Look at all the copies that they've made. They've reprinted this thing for years. They have literally years of Loxodon Warhammer. I have a feeling if it's been... Oh my god, it's been going as far back as Mirrodin. Mirrodin? That's how far... You know what I have to say. Probably not very underrated. It is less than 50 cents, though, if you are in love with that card. Well of Darkness, the Smelting Vat. You know, part of something being underrated is that we don't play it very much. It doesn't see a whole lot of play. And also probably why it costs 50 cents. This is a 4-mana artifact. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice another artifact. Sacrifices have to be made around here. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library. Put up to 2 non-creature artifact cards with total mana value less than or equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value from among them onto the battlefield? That's insane. And then the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You go 8 cards deep. Not to mention, there's a lot of artifacts out there, like when they get sacrificed, when they go to the graveyard, you get value out of it. You're going to draw a card, or they're going to give you some treasures or some tokens. You know, we have a worm. Someone suggesting Wormcoil Engine over here. You could sacrifice your Wormcoil Engine. You don't even lose anything. You get 2 creatures out of it, and you can go 8 cards deep to find another 6-mana card. This is a fantastic idea. It's like a weird card clan ironworks. Okay, we got and speaking, was this an idea? You want worm coil on here? That used to be a modern staple, you know. Okay, that was just a suggestion. This thing is too expensive. It's too rich for everybody's blood for this show. Okay, Rated Lex. What's up, Rated Lex? Arena of the Ancients. It's commander hate. It is an arena. This feels like... I mean, I guess we went to Theros. It just feels the lore of this image feels too close to Earth. 3-mana artifact. Legendary creatures don't untap during their controller's untap steps. That's insane. When Arena of the Ancients enters the battlefield, tapped all legendary creatures. Even more insane. Oh, that's wild. Is it a reserve list card? No, it's not. Okay. 50 cents. I think this is a banger card. Probably peeves everyone off though. Legendary creature, they don't untap when it enters. So basically, if you play a legendary creature after it's in play, you can get like 1 attack out of it. And it better be one of those legendary creatures that get extra attacks and untaps your cards. Because otherwise, the Arena of the Ancient gonna make you ancient. Next up, we got Eldraman with the Claws of Gix. We have a 0-mana artifact. Pay 1. Sacrifice a permanent. You gain 1 life. I don't get it. I mean, yeah, you get a little life out of it. I suppose the idea is if something's gonna die or get blown up anyway, you might as well get some value out of this. Like, I have 2 problems with this card. First, we're sacking our own stuff. But second, the sacrifice outlet's not even 0 mana. But whatever, it's 1 mana. I'm not gonna say it's too expensive. It's pretty cheap. It's on the payable side of all things. Okay, next up, we've got the Meme Bruli with Campfire. Good for casting from hand commanders. From hand. Oh, even just in case you put your commander in your hand, they bounce and you're like, no, I'm not putting into that command zone. The taxes are too high. We're gonna play from our hand the old-fashioned way, but through the Campfire. Pay 1 for an artifact. Pay 1, tap. You gain 2 life. Almost completely outclasses this card. We don't have to sacrifice anything, and we get more life out of it. Pay 2, tap, exile Campfire. Put all commanders you own from the command zone and from your graveyard into your hand. Then shuffle your graveyard into your hand. Is this real? Put all the commanders you own from the command zone and from the graveyard. I see. Okay, gotcha. I thought it was like we're stealing everyone's commanders and we're putting into your hand. No, it's you're getting them back. Getting your commanders back. Raichu, Playchu. We got Made Alive finally. Sup, chats. Sup. Hexanort. Lumbering World Dragon. Does that mean the lazy? Oh, it's lumber as in like literally lumber. We're cutting the forests down here. Deforestation. 3 mana for a star 4 vehicle. The vehicle's power is equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever this vehicle enters or attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Everyone loves lands. Well, this is the perfect card. Its power is equal, and it gets bigger every single time you get a land in play. So if you like big creatures and you like lands, you're gonna love the Lumbering World Dragon. Next up, we got Little Dead Fly with a super chat. Kyron Toy, super underrated. Underrated. I never said it was good. So maybe is it accurately rated? We have a 3-mana artifact. Pay 1, tap, put a charge counter on Kyron Toy. Oh no, it's a charge counter card. Tap, remove X charge counters from it at X plus 1 colorless mana in your mana pool. You know what? That's not terrible. Most of the other charge cards, they're like, you just loot, you just whatever mana you store, that's what you get. This is actually netting you at least a little 1 extra mana out of it in the end. Although it costs a little bit upfront to cast it in the first place. Matt with Darksteel Relic. think this is one of those. Is it? I think this is one of those cards that are sort of somewhat accurately rated. It's a 0-mana artifact. It is indestructible. What do you do with it? What do you do with it, Matt? What's your plan? You want to put an Insol artifact on that thing? You just want to play it just cuz? You can blow up my board. But the one thing that's going to still remain, they'll be in your nightmares, is my Dark Steel Relic staring at you for an eternity. Eternity. Next up, we got Elixir with the Architects of Will. This list literally sees Modern play. You want this in more decks? It's a 4-mana 3/3. You can now the deal is you can cycle it. All right, it's for 1 mana in black and blue, so multiple decks can cycle this card. Look at the top 3 cards. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 3 cards of target player's library. That could be you. It could be your opponent too. Then put them back in any order. I see a bunch of lands on top of your deck. All right, I see 1 bomb, 2 lands. Guess what you're going to draw for the next 2 turns? It ain't going to be the bomb, that's for sure. At least that's what they do to me with the Living End deck. Next up, let's take a look at Beanpot's Ivory Tower. Ivory Tower is a 1-mana artifact at the beginning of your upkeep. You gain X life, where X is the number of cards in your hand -4. This plus Reliquary Tower, you've got all the towers. That's all you need. This plus Reliquary Tower and card draw. Yeah, you need it all. Next up, let's get Hans Vader. Living End is banned? No, it's not. What are you talking about, Willis? There is not a single format where they banned this card. They've banned cards from Living End. They banned many cards from Living End, but they didn't ban the end card itself, Living End. Anyway, let's get Kano. Curse Mirror. Okay, Curse Mirror is a 3-mana artifact. Tap for a red. Oh, this actually saw some legacy play for a little while. I don't know if it still does. As Curse Mirror enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of a creature, of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. And the deal is, if you can copy something that has something with an attack trigger or an ETB of some sort, you actually get a lot of value out of your Curse Mirror at the same time. I was wondering I think it was some sort of mono red stompy deck, I think, in Legacy. I could be dead wrong. Something saw play. It was like Curse Mirror was just absolutely stomping me in my face. Oh, it got reprinted a lot in Doctor Who. They have a lot of different versions of this thing. Next up, we got Murphy's Law, Icon of Ancestry. That's a very nice card, Cursed Mirror. This card. 3-mana artifact. Enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Creatures you control get the it's a lord. It's an anthem effect. And then pay 3, tap, look at the top 3 cards of your library. You can reveal a creature of the chosen type from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest of them on the bottom of your library in a random order. Eldraman says, the reason I said Claws of Gix is because it's an infinite life gain combo piece. Okay. Do you know what that's like? If you can make infinite life out of Claws of Gix, then that's pretty legit, because you need as many infinite life enablers as you can get. Next up, Jader with the Crown of Convergence. This is a 2-mana artifact. I love the art. Put the top card of your library revealed. You see the future. As long as the top card of your library is a creature card, creatures you control that share a color with that card get +1/+1. Just make sure all the cards are the same color. Then for 2 mana, put the top card of your library on the bottom. All right, this is like a little bit of foresight over here. This is like deck manipulation in green and white. It's not really card draw, but still, it's all good. It's all good either way. All got. I should also say, if you like in green, if you have a lot of mana, you can like just basically dig for exactly what you want in your deck. It's pretty sneaky. Okay, Elgot with the Acrone Horse. You like this card? The Trojan Horse. It's a 4-mana 0/4 with Defender. And it's a horse. When a Crone Horse enters the battlefield, an opponent gains control of it. Haha. You thought it was a gift? Well, probably they don't. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent creates a 1/1 white soldier creature token. It's the funniest thing to give somebody. Okay, next up, we have Godzilla-sized fireballs. Just order River Song Diary. For 45 cents, looks fun to me. Okay, let's read that diary. Sounds naughty. 3-mana artifact with imprint. Whenever a player casts an instant or a sorcery spell from their hand, exile it, instead of putting it into the graveyard as it resolves. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 4 or more cards exiled with River Song's Diary, choose one of them at random. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. That's just card advantage. So what? It's like a one-sided Howling Mine, and you're gonna get the good stuff. You think your opponent's gonna hold back the good stuff? No, they want to play the good stuff one way or another, and then it's gonna be yours. You just have to wait for them to play enough cards. That's all. Next up, let's get one from Old Boy. The Sonic Screwdriver. I haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog 3 yet. I want to. I forgot that movie came out. It's a 3-mana. This looks like something from my dentist's office. Okay, it's a 3-mana artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Pay 1, tap, untap another target artifact. That's good. That's a very, very powerful effect. That's extra mana with all your monoliths. Monoliths that, monoliths, and monoliths this. Okay, pay 2, tap, scry 1, and pay 3, tap. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. It's like a Swiss Army knife. The only thing is you can't fetch it with Urza Saga, but that's okay. This looks like a very nice card. Dennis, you want the Ornate Kanzashi, the 5-mana artifact. Pay 2, tap. Target opponent removes the top card of their library from the game, and you can play it this turn. Basically, anti-tutor card. You tried to tutor something on top of your deck? Well, I'm sorry. How about I'm gonna steal it from you? Yeah, I forget about that. Like in Commander, especially, you get to play with the tutors, and those classic tutors, they put the card on top of the deck. There's a lot of cards out there that puts the good stuff on top of your deck. I take it you haven't seen or heard of Doctor Who. How could I not have heard of Doctor Who? They made a whole Commander set out of it. I haven't seen it though. I just saw a little bit of that Titanic episode because I was just curious. But watching what I saw, I was like, I can't get into this show. It's just not going to happen. Ristradin, the indestructible dual land cards are artifacts. The Razor Tide Bridge. Ristradin, did you know these see a lot of play? I wouldn't say, maybe they don't see a lot of play. You know what? I can get behind this, Ristradin. All the people complaining about, oh, I don't like land destruction. Oh, Armageddon, mass land destruction is broken. Ban mass land destruction. You have the answers right here. I'm sure you can play a few play sets of this. You're probably, if you're a Wooburg deck, you can go all in on these artifact lands. You have 20 lands. Impossible. In fact, now maybe you want to play the mass land destruction. Maybe you want to be the person banned from your play group. This is a great idea. These probably don't see enough play. A lot of people, they're playing with the other land. They're playing those lands that enter the battlefield tapped and gain a life. Ha! Pathetic. They should be playing with these. Next up, we got Elixir with the Doors of Durin. Yeah, probably people need to play with more indestructible lands. This is a 5-mana legendary artifact. Whenever you attack, scry 2. Doesn't that account for, like, is it just one whole attack or for each creature? Then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, put on the battlefield, tapped and attacking? Wow. Until your next turn, it gains trample if you control a dwarf and hexproof if you control an elf. So we need to be playing a dwarf elf deck, or one or the other, I suppose. Maybe we're playing a dwarf deck. It's actually way more likely we're playing an elf deck. There's just not enough dwarves out there. Oh, did we get so we didn't get a card from you? Excited, Raichu. The Scroll of Fate. Very fun. Very funny in Blink. It's a 3-mana artifact. Tap. Manifest a card from your hand. So you put that card onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature. And like you said, if you can blink that card, it's almost like reanimation. But I mean, even better. I mean, if you flood out, you can also recycle your basic lands, turn them into 2/2 creatures. The Scroll of Fate has a fate for everybody. Next up, Sebstone with Tarian's Journal. We're just going through we're just being so snoopy today. We're going through people's diaries. We're going through their journals. This is a 2-mana legendary artifact. Tap, sacrifice another artifact or creature, draw a card, activate only as a sorcery. That's big money. Sorcery sort of sucks, but you don't pay any money for this. Like, not paying any mana. So it's all gravy from here. Pay 2, tap, discard your hand, transform Tarian's Journal. Going through a transformation phase. Into the Tomb of Aclazots. Tap for a black, and also tap, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield with a finality counter on it, and it's a vampire in addition to its other types. A lot of values crammed into this card. A lot of value. Very nice card. Okay, next up. Who's next up? Jess says, how many more submarines will kill billionaires? I've did it happen again? Did it happen again? Last case I knew was like 2 years ago. Islarf, Vat of Rebirth. Okay, we have a black artifact. Whenever another artifact or creature you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter on Vat of Rebirth. Then for 3 mana, tap, remove 4 oil counters from our Vat. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. We're not allowed to have any instant speed reanimation. That's just weird. Whenever another artifact or creature... So this is basically an insurance policy. You know, if your car gets damaged enough, it's totaled, you get a brand new car. All right? Brand new. Next up, John's Knowledge Pool. The biggest pool I know on the block. Is this underrated, though? Don't a lot of people play this card? I thought this is like a really commonly played jank card. Or are you taking it seriously, John? It's a 6-mana artifact with imprint, and the imprint is each player exiles the top 3 cards of their library, and if you cast a card, you get to cast something random from that pool, and what you just cast gets added to it. Next up, let's take a card from SHG, Earthbind. Is Earthbind an artifact? No! it's an enchantment. Also, it's surprisingly expensive because it's old. Next up, Lesthian. We have Ariat's Tempting Apple. It is an apple. It's a 4-mana food. When Ariat's Tempting Apple enters the battlefield, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste. And then for 2-mana, tap, sacrifice your Tempting Apple to gain 3 life. So it's like, oh, it's literally a food. But it can do the opposite. Because it's a bad apple. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice Ariat's Tempting Apple, and then target opponent loses 3 life. You will eat this thing. You'll eat because I said so. Next up, we got Elixir with the boxing ring. I need a boxing. Do I have anything close to a boxing ring sound effect here? Not this. Everyone's cheering on. There was just a knockout blow. 2-mana artifact. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control with the same mana value. Tap, create a treasure token. Activate only if you control a creature that fought this turn. That's pretty amazing. So it's like removal and it's ramp at the same time. I love it. Super love it. We got Polypropylene Symmetry Matrix. This is a 4-mana artifact. Whenever a creature with power equal to its toughness enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. And if you do, you draw a card. Nothing wrong with card draw. Equal to its toughness. With power equal to its toughness. Oh, so it has to be like a 4/4, a 3/3, a 2/2. Well, that'll go great with that manifest card. Literally exchange your basic lands for card draw. Evil Gibson's like, what does NCY stand for? No card yet. For the people that I try to get around. We try in this show. We try to make sure everyone at least gets 1 card. Containment Priest. Oh, sorry, Containment Construct. Underrated for self-discard. Why would you want to do that, Evan? Why would you want to bring pain to yourself? It's a 2-mana 2/1. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play that card this turn. Okay, I see. So, like, if you, like, Faithless Looting, draw 2, discard 2, then you can actually play those cards. Now, it's a build-around card. You gotta build around it. We got Ivy. Hello, Coffee Crew. Been busy with newborn. Want to say hi? Well, thank you so much, Levy. Congratulations, by the way. Okay, let's give this card to... I didn't know Just Random Mage didn't get a card. Chronotog Totem. Gotta pay tribute to the Chronotogs. 3-mana artifact. Tapped out of blue. This is blue ramp. Then for 2 mana, it becomes a 1/2 blue Atog creature until end of turn. And for 0 mana, gets +3/+3 until end of turn. You skip your next turn. Isn't this the same thing as that other, like, isn't... Huh? This is the same thing as the actual Chronotog. So it's just a mana rock that you can turn it into Chronotog, right? Plays ability only once each turn and only if Chronotog Totem is a creature. So weird. How many cards are like that? It's like a depiction of an actual card that already exists. We got Slim. Amulet of Safekeeping. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. It's a 2-mana artifact. Whenever you become the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless they pay 1. Anti-Storm. Also anti-token. Creature tokens get -1, -0. They'll never see that coming. You know this card. You would make this card perfect if you could crack it to draw a card. I think that's what was missing from this card. Then you would see a lot of play. Very nice card. Have to see no NC. We got a lot of newcomers. Welcome. NCY means no card yet. It helps me distinguish people who didn't get a card yet, like Toilet Duck. We got to make sure everyone's part of the show. Don't lie to me though. You're on camera. We have Brea Ethereum Shaper. You think if this is underrated? Also, in what world is this actually 50 cents? I mean, you know, if it can... Oh, we have Modern Horizons. It's actually 36 cents. All right, we got there. Perfect. Okay, what does Brea do? 4 mana, 4/4. Enters the battlefield. Create 2 blue Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Then for 2 mana, you can sack 2 of those artifacts. Oh my god, we just threw away our children. Brea deals 3 damage to target player or planeswalker. Target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Or you can gain 5 life. Not bad for a day's work for Brea. She's willing to sacrifice more children too. But not before we thank our sponsor today, FusionGamingOnline.com. My favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. What's the deal of the week this week? Is it still 20%? Oh no, we got a new deal. 20% off dice. If you're a dice, you love your dice. I like big chunky dice. Get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. Most importantly, pre-order your Tarkir Dragonstorm cards. Those dragons. You love dragons, don't you? And I'll tell you what, if you love dragons, you're going to love to buy them at Fusion Gaming Online. Pre-orders, the spoilers. And do not forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Magic Online, the digital format where you can play paper Magic. We're talking Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, Commander, One-on-One Commander, But you don't need to buy your decks. You can rent them. Why would you want to rent them? Because it's cheaper if you want to play a billion decks. And also, if any cards get banned, who cares? Your cards didn't get banned. Mana Traders cards got banned. And you can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_ZUL. Gotta say Z for all the Americans out there. America. Okay, next. Get back to the show. Argentina doesn't got a card yet. Icy Manipulator. It's so underrated. I chose this in a beta booster draft as opposed to taking the damn rare. Okay, 4 mana artifact. Pay 1, tap target artifact, creature, or land. I can't speak for outside of draft, but in draft this card is insane. It helped me win like tons of games just by itself. Steve Cooper, the Dollhouse of Horrors, and a dono for chat. You got it. Dollhouse of Horrors. This is a 5 mana artifact. Pay 1, tap, exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that exiled card, except it's a 0/0 construct in addition to its other types, and it has this creature gets +1/+1 for each construct you control. It gains haste until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. So it's Reanimator. It's Artifact Reanimator. Very suspicious creatures. All right, we got a donation. So you know who's going to get the donation? You're going to get it, Arrow. Demonic Junker. Seven mana for a 4/3 vehicle. But it's got affinity for artifacts, so it's cheaper than it looks. You're richer than you think, they say. When this vehicle enters, for each player, destroy up to 1 target creature that player controls. If a creature you controlled was destroyed this way, put 2 +1/+1 counters on this vehicle. See, on only crew 2. For each player, destroy up to 1. This is going to be like a 3-for-1 card. Interesting. Dr. Nemo, Alter. Yes, but Alter of the Pantheon. A lot of altars out there. 3 mana artifact. Your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1. That's weird, because this card itself is not helping me with my devotion. It's actually making it worse. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a god, a demigod, or a legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. It better help with the devotion. It's a weird mana rock. You know what? It could also do. It should just have like 1 of 3 devotion on it at the same time. Next up, we got the Emperor. Emperor, thank you very much for your super chat. Graz. The Unstoppable Juggernaut. And as it is in the name, it is a Juggernaut. A 7/5. Juggernauts you control attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control can't be blocked by walls. And other creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/3 and are Juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. They're just trying to bring back beta. That's all they're trying to do. This is not a bad so it's other creatures you control have base power. This is a great thing to maybe tutor out into onto the battlefield, or even combo it with the Dollhouse of Horrors. Because you don't even care that it's a 0/0. Like, it's just gonna make everything a 5/3 anyway. You care about everything else. Next up, Black Lance Geo. Jacob says Nikachu is an underrated artifact and it costs 0 to watch the stream. Does that count? Sure. Okay, Black Lance Geo. Pack Doll Terror. 4 mana artifact toy. It's a 3/4. Whenever this creature or another artifact you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I could see this being like a big game. This creature or another artifact. And it's just when it enters, you don't even need to cast the damn thing. I mean, if you got treasures, you got blood tokens. I mean, that's going to be massive main and drain. I think this is a great card. It could be thrown into basically any deck. Well, I mean, you do have to play black though. That's the only problem. It's a small problem though. Emperor, thank you very much for another super chat. Hexmark Destroyer. Super fun. Hard to block. 6 mana, 6/6 Necron. It's got the multi-threat eliminator. That's why it's got them laser beams. Pachoo, 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 pachoo. Hexmark Destroyer can't be blocked except by 6 or more creatures. You know, we are so close in humanity to just literally having this thing. I'm seeing so many videos of these. We got like drones and like humanoid robots, and soon it'll be able to like spew lasers like this at like rapid speed and accuracy. Also, it's got Unearth. So even if we want to destroy it, it's going to come back. You can't kill the damn machine. Next up, VAC 17 with Treasure Map. That was like a standard card at one point. 2 mana, artifact, pay 1, tap, scry 1, put a landmark counter on your treasure map. Then if there are 3 or more landmark counters on it, remove those counters, and we're going to transform it into the Treasure Cove. Tap to add a colorless, and also tap, sacrifice a treasure, draw a card. And you get the treasures too, right? Oops. We get treasures out of this. Transform, and we create 3 treasure tokens. It's going to be some good coin out there. We call that value. Jacob says, I hope we aren't close to having Necrons that max danger. I think we're pretty damn close. We might have it in 10 years. It's pretty close. Next up, let's get something from Argentina. The Tower of Fortunes. Tower of Fortunes. 4 mana artifact. Pay 8. Draw 4 cards. What are we, robbing the bank here? You know this is like a superior Aladdin's ring. What was Aladdin's ring? Strictly better Aladdin's ring. Let me look for this thing. Yeah, okay, for 8 mana, you have to cast it for 8 mana, then you have to pay another 8. Oh no, this is completely different. Oh, sorry. Okay, that deals damage. I thought it drew like 1 card. There's a card out there. I think it's like 8 mana, but you like pay 4 and draw a card. It's like really bad. It's really bad. Yeah, I got mixed up. Or maybe I'm just making things up. Who knows? Next up, we got Pacers Fan Forever. What do you got? The Explorer's Scope and Arcane Spyglass. Supposed to break these up. Okay, I'm going to do your first one first. The Explorer's Scope is a 1 mana equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped, and also costs 1 to equip. So it's literally Explore, right? Equip creature attacks. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, oh, I see. So, but you don't have the option to put it in the graveyard. If it's a land, you keep it. If you don't, you don't. Or it's like if it's a land, you get to put it on the battlefield. It's strictly better Aladdin's ring. Power creep is out of control. I know. They're not even comparable. Stranger Canny, the Arena of the Ancients. Mid condition one is under. Oh yeah, absolutely. It can be a little. It's okay if I would say you can if you cut the price in half, it'd be okay, because, you know, we're counting cards that have gone through the washer and dryer at least, 3 times. Oh, we did this one. Sorry about that. I wouldn't say you got sniped. We did this one already, though. Next. Oh, was I thinking of Aladdin's lamp? The lamp. Ugh, I keep spelling Aladdin wrong. I'm a moron. 10 mana, X tap. Instead of drawing a card from the top of your library, draw X cards, but choose 1. I guess I was sort of thinking of that. Although that's still doesn't really work. Ellis with Collector's Vault. What are they collecting over in that vault, Ellis? It's a 2 mana artifact. Looks like a library. Oh no, it's a vault. Okay, pay 2, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. Also create a treasure token. So we got a little bit of a ramp, a little bit of card draw. And discard. We're going to turn Threshold online. Maybe even get our Reanimator deck online. Next up. The Emperor. And lastly, one of my favorites, the Psychic Paper. Huh? Is that like a fortune cookie? Because after all, you know, the fortune's on a piece of paper, right? Okay, this is... Oh, yeah, this card, 2 mana. Equipment. As Psychic Paper becomes attached to a creature, choose a creature card name and a creature type. Equipped creature has Ward 1. It can't be blocked, and its name and creature type are the last chosen name and creature type. Got a passport for anything around here. The Undetected Gamer with the Mirror Reservoir. Or sorry, the Mirror Reservoir. I didn't know the mirrors had a reservoir. We have another raccoon user. We have millions of raccoon users in the community. Okay, this is a 3-mana artifact. Tap, add 2 colors to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast mirror spells or activated abilities of mirror. Those mirror cards, they can get expensive. There's like mirrors start at like 3 mana, and then they only get higher. Okay, we have a 3-mana tap. Return target mirror card from your graveyard to your hand. So basically, oh, also don't forget changelings. Yeah, I know the changeling community out there. Yeah, the trash panda invasion. A lot of trash pandas in chat. Next super chat, we got Godzilla-sized fireballs. Masterwork of ingenuity. Bonus points for Mad Max pick. You want the Mad Max one? Is this it? I've seen Mad Max, a nice movie. Pay 1 artifact. Sorry, pay 1. It's an equipment. You may have Masterwork of Ingenuity enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield? Really? For 1 mana? You may have Masterwork of Ingenuity enter the battlefield. Okay, I get it. I guess the thing is, like, there's not a lot of equipment that might be on the battlefield. It's possible if you have this in your hand, there's no equipment, well, then it just does nothing for the time being. Is this literally Mad Max? It's not a perfect replica, but your skull won't know the difference. It looks very Mad Max-like. But, oh no, I think it's more Fallout. It's technically Fallout. It's got Mad Max vibes, though. Chris Bonehead, Tinker's Tote. This is a 3-mana artifact. When Tinker's Tote enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 colorless gnome artifact creature tokens. So basically a 3-mana 2/2. And pay 1, sacrifice Tinker's Tote, you gain 3 life. If you can recycle this card, you're going to get more tokens. Also, you can just blink this card. I forgot, like, you don't have to bring it back from your graveyard. Just blink it all over and over again. Next up, we got Pacers Fan Forever's other card. We got the Arcane Spyglass. You want a spy camera? Just like Bart Simpson had. It's a 4-mana artifact. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice a land, draw a card, and put a charge counter on Arcane Spyglass. Remove 3 charge counters from your Arcane Spyglass. Draw a card. This sounds terrible. I have to sacrifice lands for this? This is expensive too. Okay, well, apparently some value was found. You know, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Next up, we got Dazget Punk Tet with the Lotus Guardian. 7 mana for this is really underrated. The 7 mana 4/4 flyer. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. For the people that need to curve into the 9th mana. The 9th mana, that's where the game starts, everyone. It's not at the 6th. It's not at the 7th mana. It's the 9th mana. I think Tresaru's card got disqualified. Glass Dusk Hulk. It's like Kappa Cannoneer at home. It's 5 mana 3/4 golem. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Glass Dusk Hulk, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. It is Kappa Cannoneer at home. No affinity, but the upside is that if it's really clunky, you can just cycle it away for an extra card. Alexa with the super chat. The portable hole. Okay, you're gonna really have to sell me on that. This thing's underrated. This is like, it is a it is a Pioneer All-Star. Saw a ton of play in Standard. How is this underrated? Everyone who can play Portable Hole does play Portable Hole. It's a white artifact. When Portable Hole enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until a Portable Hole leaves the battlefield. Well, you know what? You super chatted, so I'm going to say this is an amazing card. It's beautiful. What an excellent card. It's good. I mean, it's a great card, don't get me wrong. But it actually sees a lot of play. It's very, very, very big. Toads. This is my last try. Well, it's the try that counts. The gases casket? That doesn't make any sense to me. Did I spell that right? The gases casket. We got a casket for gas. I think we're spelling something wrong here. The glass casket? I think maybe you mean the glass casket. It's a 2-mana artifact. When Glass Casket enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until Glass Casket leaves the battlefield. Now this, it's like, I wouldn't say it's strictly worse than Portable Hole, but the difference is that this card actually doesn't see a whole lot of play, like way less. So if you need more effects like Portable Hole, there's no place less to look than Glass Casket. Kevin the Carpathian, inspiring statuary. A 3-mana artifact. Non-artifact spells you cast have improvise. So your artifacts can be tapped to cast it. So basically it's almost like affinity. Affinity for artifacts, but you can tap those artifacts to get in play. Stranger, can I say my last card was taken-ish? May I have Mindlock Orb? Absolutely. Okay, we have a 4-mana artifact. Players can't search their libraries. Searching his library is banned. Your fetch lands, they're useless. They're dead top decks. This is a great card. This is a very, very, very strong card. I guess the problem with this card is, I mean, you specifically have to build your deck around it. You can't play with any of the fun tutoring cards. On the other hand, you probably shouldn't build your deck tutoring anything because it's so frustrating to tutor in Commander. Very, very frustrating. This is interesting. I think this card should or could see play outside of Commander. I feel like there's maybe some legacy deck that can make use of this. There's a lot of tutoring over there. We have a super chat from Kagan. Nonetheless, I won a few games with Mech Titan Core. I knew you'd say that. This is a 2-mana 2/4 vehicle. Pay 5, exile it, and 4 other artifact creatures enter vehicles you control. Create a Mech Titan, a legendary 10/10 construct artifact creature token with flying, vigilance, and trample, lifelink, and haste. That's all colors. And when that token leaves the battlefield, return all cards exiled with the Mech Titan Core, except Mech Titan Core, to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. It's basically we're making a Megazord. And when you defeat the Megazord, it breaks off into its all original pieces. Basically. Welcome, first-time chatter, KCJA. Would love to put you want the Jeweled Amulet. You like amulets, do you, KC? It's a 0-mana artifact. Pay 1 tap. Put a charge counter on your Jeweled Amulet. Note the type of mana spent to pay this activation cost. Play this ability only if there are no charge counters on Jeweled Amulet. Then tap, remove a charge counter from Jeweled Amulet. Add 1 mana of Jeweled Amulet's last noted type to your mana pool. This is actually strictly better. Is this cheap? It actually looks like it's expensive. Like, can you see that? See that, chat? $7. It's too expensive for this show. It's got to be cheaper. It's disqualified. It's too good. Too rare. Is it reserve list? It's not. Not from what I see. It's got to be less than 50 cents. It can't break the bank around here. Just like Juju Bobble. I guess we're now down to a point where we can get no 2 cards yet. Pacers fan forever with the Flood Water Dam. Thanks so much for your super chat, Pacers. Three-man artifact. Double X1 tap. Tap X target lands. It can be a super Rishidan port with infinite mana, basically infinite tapping crap down. Cards worth money. You could have fooled me. You know what? I'm not. I don't blame you either. This card, it didn't look like it was worth anything. It is. Is it a reserve list? Let's go to the Ice Age version. It's not a reserve list. Someone out there really likes this card. It's like a really. It's probably the best storage counter card that exists. Who has no card yet? I think we've got to everybody. Positron trying to really get the rug of smothering on here. Okay, 3 mana, 1/3 construct. It's Aladdin's carpet, the magic carpet. Flying. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 1 life for each spell they've cast this turn. It's anti-storm hate. Hear that, Storm players? Stick to 1 spell a turn around here. Jeweled Amulet is for CEDH. Oh, interesting. I guess for partially for mana fixing, partially just get a bunch of artifacts in play for cheap. David, you have no card yet? It's the Codex Shredder. I think it's underused. I don't know, underrated. Well, okay, you do have something going on here. So it's 1 mana artifact, tap, target player mills a card, and then pay 5, tap, sacrifice it, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's like it's a colorless regrowth, but in addition to that, it's anti-tutoring. It's like anti-put anything on top of your deck. If your opponent, like, for example, let's say they surveilled, they scryed, they tutor something, you can be like, oh, you like that card? All right, I'm just gonna throw it into the graveyard. Although what would be interesting though is someone looks to the top card of their deck, they put it back, you shred it, turns out it was just like a basic land that they didn't need. The mind games with the Codex Shredder. I think there's a little bit more going on to Codex Shredder than meets the eye, that's for sure. A little bit more than meets the eye. Miguel with braided net. Gonna catch some big fish with that net. 3 mana artifact enters the battlefield with 3 net counters on it. Tap, remove a net counter from braided net. Tap another target non-land permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. Craft for 2 mana. So remove a net counter. Comes with 3 net counters. It's activated. We tap something. Its activated abilities can't be activated for as long as it remains tapped. But they can untap it next turn, right? I think that's how it works. They can tap it next turn. Weird. I don't know exactly how this card works. It's a net positive. It is, isn't it? Surf the net. Okay, next up, let's get Arrow with the Arcbound Condor. Now, for people who are like, what's the NCY means? Well, it means no card yet. And then no N2 CY, no 2 cards yet. This is a 4 mana 0/0 bird flying with modular 3. That's a lot of counters. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, target creature an opponent controls, it gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Soon enough, you'll shrink it. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control. This is great. So basically, if you can get a spew of a bunch of treasure tokens, you can like just shrink and kill anything off. The Undetected Gamer, second card, Golem Skin Gauntlets. Golem Skin. This is a 1 mana equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each equipment attached to it. What? You need a lot of equipment over here. Oh, you know what this would go combo well with? That 1 mana equipment that like copies the equipment in play. Because they would see each other and give +1/+1 to each of them. That's neat. The True North Cranial Ram. For those heavy artifact decks. You know why this definitely doesn't see a whole lot of play? Because it's banned in Pauper. Okay, this is a 2-mana equipment. It's a living weapon. Equipped creature gets +X/+1, where X is the number of artifacts you control. It's literally cranial plating on a body. Doesn't see any play in Modern. Probably, the casting cost a little harsh, though. A little harsh. They made it colorless. It would be very easy. We got Jerome wants to get in on the action here with the Magister Sphinx. Not sure if it's 50 cents. It's okay. We're going to assume it went through the washer and dryer 3 times. 3 times. No, it's good. You're good. This is good. This is a 7 mana 5/5 Sphinx flying. When it enters the battlefield, target player's life total becomes 10. Now that could be from infinite life down to 10, or sometimes it gains life. Sometimes maybe that player's you. You're at 2 life. You want to go back up to 10. So yeah, in fact, it's like life gain. You can do everything. It's a very cryptic Sphinx. You can never know what it's about to do. Next up, Let's the End with Synthesis Pod. Is it a Simic card? It's blue. Okay, it's a 3 mana +1 Phyrexian. What is this, like Birthing Pod for artifacts? Pay 1 and a Phyrexian, tap, exile a spell? That is highly unusual. Target opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a card with a mana value equal to 1 plus the exiled spell's mana value. Exile that card, then that player shuffles. You may cast that exiled card without paying its mana cost. This is just weird. But if you play this card in your deck, it is 100% with a very special plan. 100%. I'm just trying to think. So basically, for 1 extra mana, you're like literally paying for it. So like, if I play a 3 mana card and I pay 1 for my Synthesis Pod, then I'm getting a 4-drop. The very next 4-drop. Kano, Urn of Godfire. Where's our urn? Scryfall decided to die on me for a second. There we go. The 1 mana artifact. Pay 2. Add 1 mana of any color. We lost mana out of this. What kind of deal is that? Pay 6, tap. Sacrifice the Urn of Godfire. Destroy target. Oh, it's removal. In colorless. Destroy target creature or enchantment. I think I can get behind that completely. Weird mana fixing. Very, very bizarre. But good destruction. Oh, David! Welcome to the show. Pack Weapon. Redlex says, I've been watching you, Nikachu, for a long time, and I never bothered to ask what NCY was for. Also, you always super chat. So you're always guaranteed your card. Thanks so much, Rated Lex. 4 mana equipment, as long as Packed Weapon is attached to a creature, you don't lose the game. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. Whenever equipped creature attacks, draw a card and reveal it. The creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, and you lose X life, where X is that card's mana value. And also, to equip, you just have to discard a card. It's as simple as that. So that's actually pretty neat. So for 4 mana, you can equip this immediately to a creature. And all it needs to be is like on an indestructible creature, and you're basically indestructible. So I think for this powerful of effect, the equip cost is incredibly convenient. For dumping one card from my deck, why wouldn't I want to be indestructible? Next up, Old Boy with Mind Splice Apparatus. I like this picture. It's a 4 mana artifact with flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, put an oil counter on it. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each oil counter on Mind Splice Apparatus. I think this works particularly well if you have a deck with like really expensive mana costs. So you just throw this out at the end of your opponent's turn, and you slowly each turn are going to have cheaper and cheaper gigantic spells. They won't even see it coming. Let's get a few more. Benjamin wants a second card. Phyrexian Totem. 3-mana artifact, tap for a black. This is like a bad mana rock. But for 3 mana, it becomes a 5/5 black horror artifact creature token with trample until end of turn. It looks like a Phyrexian negator. Whenever it's dealt damage, if it's a creature, sacrifice that many permanents. Oh my goodness.
No, God, please, no.
Wait, whenever it's if it's creatures. Is this underrated? I mean, I guess you only have to swing when like the coast is clear, I guess. I guess that's the idea. Daz Punktat says 8 ringed boo. Oh, is it called 8th ring? Oh, I spelled 8th wrong. I'm a moron. I think they're spelling it wrong too. Do I not know how to spell 8th wrong? Well, I'm gonna look up ringed boo. Ringed boo. Oh, it's the 9th ringed. That's why they couldn't find the 9th ringed boo. There's a lot of boos out there. 3 mana artifact, tap 9th ring boo. Deals 1 damage to target spirit. If that creature would be put into a graveyard this turn, remove it from the game instead. Wow, you really have it out for the spirits, do you? The boo is garbage. Unless you're up against the artifact the spirit metagame. Pedgeman, did we do Helm of Awakening? It used to be an egg enabler back in the day. Helm of... Let's awaken with the Helm of Awakening. 2 mana artifact. Spells cost 1 less to cast. But this is for everybody, isn't it? So everyone basically get a discount. We gotta, you know what? This is a great way to speed up the game. So we can get into a second game, and a third game, and a fourth game. Okay, let's... You know what? Christopher B always suggests a billion cards. Let's make sure he gets a second one. Psychogenic Probe. 2 mana artifact. Whenever a spell or ability causes a player to shuffle their library, it deals 2 damage to them. Oh my goodness. You gotta think twice about that. So basically, if you want to fetch with a fetch land, you're already taking 1 damage. Do you want to take an extra 2? Would you like to make that a total of 3? How do you feel like bolting yourself to go find lands out there? Okay, how about this? We end off on Scott the Dark Knight with the quietest spike. It is the quietest spike. Very, very quiet. 3 mana equipment. Equipped creature has death touch, and whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half their life. Wow! Rounded up. Talk about cutting your life in half. Equipped for a 3. And that's it, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. I liked it. We saw a lot of underrated artifacts for less than 50 cents. And if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Of course, thank you so much to everyone who supports the channel. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be a part of the show. And of course, everyone who super chats so other people can be part of the show. And of course, thank you everyone for being here today. People like Evan, Little Dead Fly, Positron, Chris Bonehead, Haxanort, Pedgeman, Steve Cooper, David Sampson, Ellis Flowers, Toads, The Undetected Gamer, Kano, David, Jas, Arrow, Aldramin. We got Termus, Lesthian, because you are what makes the show every single day. So keep brewing those coffees, Coffee Crew, and we're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.